Miciah was born April 20th, 1993. She was 6 weeks early, in fact. I was sick when I had her, and so she ended up being born early. But there was nothing wrong with her. That was the neat thing about Micaiah's birth.
It was a new day for us, but it was one that we were both prepared for, I believe. After that summer of finding out about Micaiah's tummy aches, that it was more than just a stomach ache, it actually turned out to be dilated cardiomyopathy and enlarged heart. We realized pretty quickly that medication was not going to work to fix this. It was either going to be God or it was going to be a heart transplant or both.
How I felt the moment they told us that Micaiah was going to have a heart transplant. You read about it, you hear about it, you hear the stories, but you think, that doesn't happen to us. And I asked, why? Why her? Why us? Why now? Why this? I mean, that was our baby.
When we got to Texas Children's the second time in February, which was a miracle in and of itself, she was admitted, and that began the journey of the second time being in the hospital. I had to leave after a couple days to go back to work and take care of business. Life goes on.
So, the day wore on, and that evening we talked to Michael on the phone. He called, and we said goodnight, ready to go to bed. So turned out the light, and I'm on the little bed in the room with her, and Micaiah's in the bed, and lights hadn't been out too long, 2 or 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. And Micaiah sat straight up in that bed. Mama, please, I don't want to die. Mommy, please, I don't want to die. And of course I turned the lights on, and baby, you're not going to die. It's okay. And called for the nurses and the doctors because I didn't know what was going on and what would prompt her to say that out of the blue. She had never said that before. And I'm holding her in my lap. And she rested right there in my arms. And they started doing CPR on her. Laid her down in the bed and moved me out of the room. I was told that they ended up shocking her 3 times to get her revived. And they did get her heart started again and had her in ICU at that point after that on a ventilator. And an artificial heart to pump for her heart because the heart attack had just done quite a bit of damage to her little heart. We stayed at that point for several days, and she was moved at that time to the top of the cardiac transplant list. And so now it was a waiting game.
When we found out a heart had become available for Micaiah, it was just a great day. And then the day came that it was, the surgery was scheduled, it went forward, it was a success. I can't begin to tell you how we felt that we might get our daughter back alive and conscious and able to respond. And that was a good day. That was a good day.
Even though Micaiah's heart transplant was a success, that definitely did not stop the battles. We had, seemed like one right after the other. The medication that they had used to revive her when she had the heart attack burned her arm. And so at one point, the doctors wanted to amputate her arm. We prayed, and that changed. They didn't end up amputating her arm. But then we had liver enzymes that would go down, and just one thing right after another. It seemed like it was a battle, no matter what we were doing.
This time that we had now with her was not one where you could talk and communicate. It was times when you could squeeze her hand and feel the warmth still in her body, but she was not conscious, and she lost half her body weight through this time of just being in bed. She would develop bed sores, and my gosh, to see your baby girl with bed sores, and when they came to dress her, and there would be tears coming down her cheek.
And I just remember feeling compelled to give her permission to go home. she was going. But I also knew that she didn't want to stay like this. May 22nd, 2001 was a day that I will never forget. Started out like any other day. We were at the hospital, and Miciah had bled out, lost a lot of body fluid, and the doctors had told us that morning to go ahead and call for family. So I did. I called Michael and had him come, and he made phone calls while he was driving down.
We had an understanding that it was time as well, and it was really the best possible way to do the worst possible thing, but I think they were coming to give Miciah some more fluids, and we just looked at him and said, enough's enough.
I had promised Miciah early on that she wouldn't die in a hospital bed, so the one request we had was that I could hold her. So they set the bed up, and I was able to hold Miciah in my arms after they had disconnected her from all the machines. And we were all around in the room praying and just talking, really, not anything major.
But it became very serious at some point, and we did start praying.
We did.
Asking for the Lord's direction, His comfort, His mercy. And, I'd always sang to the girls when they were little, and if it was happy times, I'd sing Rockin' Robin, and we would have fun. If it was a quiet time, I usually would sing 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take Him at His word. And I started humming that and singing it, and everyone started singing in with us. And everybody came from down the hallways and wanted to know what was happening. And the doctors and people that we'd become friends with came and started singing with us. And even strangers there that had their own problems were moved to tears.
I remember looking down, and she wasn't breathing anymore. I just kind of knew that she had gone on to be with Jesus. And I remember telling Michael, she's gone. I've had people ask me, why didn't God answer your prayers? Why? You didn't see her healed, she died. You're right, she did die. But I know that every prayer we prayed here on earth was answered. We just couldn't see the answer to those prayers in the natural. Miciah, I know for a fact, is alive and well in heaven. She's running around. She has a heavenly body that is not connected to tubes. It's not bruised. It's not battered. It doesn't have bed sores. And she's laughing and happy like she always was, how I remember her. So, every prayer that we prayed, we may not have seen it answered here and now, but it was answered. And that I am firmly convinced of. We will forever miss Kai Bear, as we call her. That was her nickname.
I think it's important, though, that we won't be defined by this. This doesn't define who we are today. We still have two beautiful children, Shauna and David, and we've enjoyed and are enjoying their life. And this is a part of our testimony now. It's a part of who God made us. And I look forward to the day that we can see her again. Every day is one day closer to being reunited with her. And I'm looking forward to that. So I know God has a lot in store for us yet. And it's a grand adventure. And there is peace and joy on the other side of the pain. You just have to endure it for a moment. But God is faithful. And He will deliver us all, no matter what the circumstance. So I give glory and honor to God, most of all, for helping us through that time.